Well, for the past 7 or 8 months, I've managed to get away with not doing a lot of water change because I was using potassium permanganate, and that was working great when I had about 30 fish. But now with all these fish here and the crazy amount of food I'm feeding, no matter what I do, I simply cannot clear the water. There's just too many fish and too much food, and they make too much of a mess. So even though the testing parameters are perfect, the fact that I can't see the koi was a problem for me. So here's how I'm doing this. I'm gonna change out over 60% of the water. um, I've done this before. Obviously it's not ideal, but there was just so much murky water that I kept doing about 10-15% and it didn't do any help. So I'm gonna go crazy and do this, but obviously this is not something that you want to do often, and the only safe way to do this is to make sure that you're treating the water when you fill it back up. So to do that, the best thing is using the chlorine and chloramine removal, either powder or liquid. In my case, I got the API stress coat. If you can see clearly, it says remove chlorine, chloramine, and ammonia. So it does it instantly. And for a 1,000 gallon, all you need is 1 cup. And so I'm probably gonna use about 2,000. I'm gonna use about 2 cups because I'll probably replace about 2,000 gallons. And it's kind of nice to see all the fish up like this now, actually. But man, I just put it off for a while, and there's no health risk with cloudy, murky water. It's just that you can't see anything, so you can't really enjoy it. But look how many fish there are, though, huh? Alright, so I'm hoping there's no issues with this large water change. I've been keeping the place pretty warm, and obviously there's gonna be a couple of degrees difference between the water and the tap water. But overall, in this nice cool weather, I think it should be okay. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that tonight, finish it up. Gotta make sure I set an alarm so I don't forget. But this is how I do the large water change. It's a sump pump connected to just a regular pipe, the black ones, and then I tied it into one of those pool cleaning pipes that you use with the little cleaner. I think it's about 1.5 inches, and it perfectly fits right in, and it allows me to snake it all across the side of the house, and it goes into the clean out drain right here, which works perfect, very clean. And this is just how I do it now. It's so much easier. But yeah, the filter's out, everything's gonna get cleaned off. As you can see, nothing else is here. Filter's working perfectly. As I said, the water testing parameters are perfect, so it's just the clarity. And getting into summer, I know I'm gonna be feeding more, so every now and then I'm gonna have to do this. I think the best thing for me to do now is probably every 2 or 3 months I do a 60% change. 60-70% change, get rid of all the murky water, and then just do it. I think 10% change is not working out for me because it makes no difference. It's gonna be a little bit stressful for the fish, but I think they'll be okay. I think in the summer it's easier because then it gets warmer, so the temperature change, well, it holds enough heat so that there's not much issue with the temperature change. See, I actually like being able to see the fish like this. So this is my goal now. No small change, just one big change. And as you can see, my strainer on the bottom is keeping the fish out of the filter, which is good. Yeah, should be okay. I did this before. Man, those babies are growing real fast. Yeah, so if you got a clean out drain on the side of your house, this is the best way to do it. It's a lot easier. And these pumps are really cheap. And here is the morning after. It has better visibility, but it's still not as crystal clear as I would have hoped. I mean, I changed about, what, 65% of the water, and that little basket strainer down there is at the bottom of the pond. But the water is still a little murky. The next few days we're gonna probably have a little bit of rain, so I'm gonna test this out and not feed them and see what's gonna happen. I'm hoping that the clarity will get a little better before I resume feeding. Although I don't like the idea of not feeding them, especially when even though it's getting a little colder, but the water is still around 60 degrees, if not 61 or so. So it's not too bad. Yep, man, 10, 15, 20% water change is not cutting it for my pond with the way with this many fish and with the way I feed. It's got to be at least 50, 60%. So every 2 months might be okay. So that is just a warning if you plan on feeding your fish a lot and having a bunch of babies.